Good morning, SLO. I'm grateful to be here with you this morning to share a story about Los Osos, a little corner of our community that I'm lucky to call home, but that we don't often hear much about. With recent storms, you've likely heard a little bit more about us than before, with the mudslide impacting 19 homes due to the failure of a water retention basin. But hopefully, you've also heard about the coming together of a community. While this story is ongoing, it is a story of community care over individualism, a story that lets us remember we are more common than we are different, better together than apart. On the morning of Tuesday, the 10th, Annette Sheely, who is here with me this morning, my co-facilitator of a group called Support Los Osos with thousands of members, shared a message to the group. Help needed, please come, bring a shovel. Seeing the message, I piled my 3 kids in the car to see what I could do, having no idea where that day would take us or what that night had brought for the families of Vista Court. Arriving, I walked down the mud-covered street as rain fell, forming small rivers of debris. Remnants of chairs and blankets strewn about, piles of broken, unidentifiable furniture along the side of the road. 10 people were there, beginning work, shoveling shin-high mud in the hallway of the first house I approached. The homeowner was there, standing in front, in flip-flops, her feet wet and caked with mud under her fingernails and across her damp sweatshirt, a look of bewilderment and shock on her face. Inside, mud clung to her curtains, filled her dresser drawers, stains waist-high everywhere you looked. Her bathroom was a swimming pool of debris. The garage door had been blown off the house from the outside in. She was just many of whom we would come to know in the following hours. And as the need became clearer, we set to work spreading the word. We needed dumpsters and wheelbarrows, volunteers and housing and food. We were not at all sure what to do next, but we were sure support was needed. We made calls and connections. We looked for the helpers, as Mr. Rogers taught us. Within hours, 100 volunteers filled the streets. 7 hours after arriving, my patient but very frank 8-year-old daughter, who I had completely forgotten was still there, approached me concerned and whispered, "Mom, you have no idea what you're doing, do you?" She was really right. Neither Annette nor I had ever coordinated during a disaster before. But this is a story of showing up anyway. And over the following days and weeks, hundreds of people have shown up alongside the neighbors of Vista Court, everyone bringing their own unique talent and treasure to the table. Businesses who donated machines and sandwiches and shovels. Virginia down the street, opening her home, housing a now homeless elderly woman and her 2 cats. The mother with a baby on her back and a shovel in her hand. Wendy's home becoming a makeshift office for a displaced family. Melissa, who set up a tent and served homemade soup. A longtime lover of Los Osos, driving all the way from Silicon Valley to bring water and food. Musicians throwing a benefit concert a week after the storm. A trailer donated so one man can stay on his property while repairs take place. Kids with hand trowels and some of the most elder members of our community bringing boxes and towels. A volunteer, self-proclaimed laundry lady, washing and drying and delivering. Wes from Santa Margarita, moving tractor loads of mud hour after hour, all the while with a cigar dangling from his mouth. The Office of Emergency Services, Public Works and CSD, CAL FIRE and churches, Cal Poly College Corps, and California Conservation Corps spending countless hours in the rain. Elected officials of every level who came to walk through homes and advocate for needs. Thousands and thousands of dollars raised, and our volunteers shoveling 50 dump trucks of mud by hand out of homes. As we are here this morning, the families of Vista Court and so many others are still sorting through mud-covered mementos, loading their remnants of belongings into storage pods, sleeping in neighbors' homes, and now navigating the very complex web of assessing the damage and securing the support they need to grieve and move forward to repair and rebuild. The emergency is fading, but their struggle continues. Their story continues. So this story isn't mine. It is theirs. It is a collective story owed to a generous group of people that recognize community is showing up for one another. Embracing the uncomfortable and showing up anyway, in the messy imperfections and the celebrations and the painstaking moments, each with our unique gifts and perspectives. This is a story of being heartened and hardened, invigorated and devastated, hopelessly hopeful about this wild world. One thing we know is that this trying time is not a first, and it certainly will not be the last. We will continue to need community to see each other through and walk each other home. And that is the call for all of us. As the amazing Grace Lee Boggs said, the only way to survive is to take care of one another.